The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hello, friends. Welcome in. My name is Matt Murphy, and this, conveniently, is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, underway for another day for 3 full hours on Supertalk 99.7 WT, and I am pleased you've decided to join us today, whatever time you're able to give us. I'm certainly appreciative of that. It is Tuesday. It is the middle of the month, October 15, 2024. It is our episode 672 of our gathering together today, and it is Locks for Trump Day 227. It's also 21 days, that would be 3 weeks, before we finally get to November 5th, which will be Election Day. There's lots to discuss with regard to the presidential election. We've got some new polling data coming out. We'll tell you all about that. We have illegal alien migrants in violent gangs. They keep getting out of jail in blue cities despite the attacks on these blue cities. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Martha Raddatz quote from over the weekend that we discussed yesterday with J.D. Vance. It's just a handful. It's just a handful of people getting killed, just a handful of people getting destroyed, getting a handful of apartment complexes getting overrun with illegal aliens. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, just a handful. If you gather together enough handfuls, eventually you get to some significant numbers, like, I don't know, millions upon millions of individuals in this country illegally, and rightly so. Many conservatives and many of us on the outskirts of the political arena looking in recognize what is set to happen, and that is millions of people potentially are going to vote in an election where they have no right to vote. And that would be individuals that ought not be in this country to begin with. And while they may not be voting in Tennessee, they may not be voting in Alabama, they may not be voting in even some of the swing states that we need to win to secure the presidency of the United States of America, they most certainly are voting in areas where they should not. And this is a problem. Secondarily, I'm feeling this today. I don't know if you're feeling it 3 weeks out, and I'm curious. 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWT. And if you want to dial us up on the phones, You're welcome to do that if you want to hit us up on the membersnutrition.com super text line. That is up and running as well. I just don't handle success well. And I wait for the other shoe to drop, and I worry. I don't know if you feel the same way. But considering that I believe that there is a group of people that are willing to lie, cheat, and steal and do anything within their conceivable power in order to continue to control the executive branch of government, I just worry about the next 3 weeks. And maybe I shouldn't. And maybe everything's fine. And maybe I should trust in the intelligence of the American people. And that truly is where all of this will be decided. The Democrats, and that's where I want to start today, the Democrats rely on the stupidity of the average voter. And so they want you to believe certain things that, if you look, empirically, it's just not true. They want you to believe that Donald Trump is the problem with border security. I mean, they're actually trying to say that out loud now. They want you to believe that the energy problems, that the inflationary issues that we currently see in the United States of America are the fault of Donald Trump, despite the fact that Kamala Harris has been in charge along with Joe Biden over the last 4 years. They truly want you to believe, and they feel like if they get enough stupid people engaged in this idea that he's evil or this idea that he's in charge, they can motivate people to go to the polls out of ignorance and vote for, quote-unquote, change, despite the fact that they're in charge right now. And everything that's happening at the southern border, everything that's happening with regard to our energy policies, our economic issues, foreign entanglements, all of those things are the results of policies set forth by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And so as the desperation increases, you will see more and more a political party willing to do anything, willing to say anything in order to get elected president or continue to operate at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. To include language that I thought we weren't using anymore. The latest salvo, and Chris Hand and I were talking about it during the crossover just moments ago, the latest salvo has been the Democrats are now saying that Donald Trump will. So what will Donald Trump do if he's elected president of the United States of America? He will never give up the White House again as long as he shall live. He will turn the United States of America. I mean, this is according to Democrats, right? I mean, the worst of the worst. He'll turn the United States of America into a dictatorial regime, the likes of which liberals have always loved, like Fidel Castro in Cuba and Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. Now Maduro in Venezuela. Right? I mean, so their suggestion is that Donald Trump will do all of these things and that he'll round up his political enemies and he'll throw his political enemies in jail. This classic projection. For Donald Trump left office once before. Oh, but this is different because this time around he won't do it again because, you know, things and stuff and last term and all. In the meantime, Donald Trump has been crystal clear as to where he believes the country needs to get to with regard to making America great again. Energy independence, economic dominance, to include, I mean, the controversial, look, I'm not that big of a fan of tariffs, but I understand what he's trying to accomplish, and it's difficult for him to do that because in the short term, you have to feel a bit of pain when you purchase something at the point of sale in order to accomplish the long-term goal to attempt to get our trade imbalance under some semblance of control. And then, obviously, southern border security and all of the rest of the things. 3 weeks to go, friends. 3 weeks to go. Have you voted already? Have you called your friends and neighbors that you know in swing states? I mean, and this is what I want to do with you today. And up until November 5th, I want to continuously motivate you to do what is necessary. I don't want us to rest on our laurels. I don't want you to look at some of this polling data. And the polling data looks great, by the way. Even as much as I dismiss some of it, because I just don't believe certain polls. I don't believe polls with alphabet soup in them, ABC, CBS, NBC. I don't believe them. But as much as I don't want to look at this stage of the proceedings, I look and everything looks pretty good. And remember, if you see a poll that indicates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are tied, that means Donald Trump is ahead. As a general rule of thumb. Whether that, and any poll that you see that is a nationwide poll is useless, don't look at it. That is my advice to you. Because these things are useless. Okay, we'll get into all of those things as we get the show under its own weight today. There's Ken Weaver back in the newsroom. He's gathering headlines as we speak. He delivers those twice an hour when news breaks. Mason Fleming is in for the ailing Bell K again today. Bell is down with the flu or something of some nature. Have you heard from him today, by the way, Mason? Pardon me, I didn't mean to catch you unawares.
No, you good. You good.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Taking a little siesta between shows?
Yeah, taking a little snooze. Real quick.
I don't blame you. I'd do the same. So have you heard from Bell?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. He doesn't like talking to me. You know that.
Well, I mean, he's got to talk to you at some point to tell you whether or not you have to work tomorrow, right?
Let me check the police blotter.
That's a good idea. Weaver, what's going on with you in the world?
Dude, I'm just got an update on this story on the Antioch Greenway over there, Mill Creek, this poor woman who was shot and killed last night.
Yes.
There's some disturbing details about this. Police say this woman was just out exercising.
Oh, no.
And people heard her crying for help. Witnesses describe what appeared to be an Asian man on top of her before the shots were fired. He left in a gray four-door sedan. So you've got homicide detectives, then specialized victims units investigating this, looking for this suspect. All we know about him is the kind of car he left in. And so we're going to be following this all day long, getting as much information on this suspect as possible, because apparently a lot of people, women, use this greenway for exercise of an evening.
Yes.
And I'm just gathering up, not to bring everybody down, but I guess kind of just be aware of your surroundings out there. It's getting darker earlier.
That's right.
It's getting darker earlier out there. So, I'm not saying that this was a random thing, but right now they don't know where this guy is, and they really don't know the circumstances around this poor woman getting killed and possibly raped, they say, on this trail.
Oh, no. That's awful. Well, yeah. You know who we will be asking about this subject tomorrow. That is Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell, who will be in studio with us tomorrow at around 12:15. We will talk to Freddie about crime in the city of Nashville and in Davidson County by extension, and we'll find out what they're doing to help protect the citizens of this community from fear of something along these lines. So we'll talk to him tomorrow about that, and I know Ken Weaver will keep us up to date all afternoon long.
Will do, brother.
Subject. Absolutely, sir. We'll also get an update, speaking of, from Steve Antle, who is our go-to guy in Fairview, North Carolina. Fairview just being a suburb of Asheville, North Carolina, the hardest hit areas over there. There was a report that came out yesterday that was, I don't want to say it was misreporting, but it was erroneous information initially leaked out by major publications like the Washington Post or the New York Times and others. The nearly 65,000 residents of hard-hit Rutherford County in North Carolina were struggling to clear endless mud and debris left behind by Hurricane Helene 3 weeks later, thereabouts. Federal emergency management crews say they were forced to relocate due to a reported armed individual and a threat against workers. It was originally reported by the Washington Post as a, quote, armed militia. It was not an armed militia. There was no militia in North Carolina. Eventually, an email was sent by the U.S. Forest Service to federal responders in Rutherford County alerting them of an apparent standoff after National Guard troops reportedly encountered, quote, militia. Well, it turned out that there was one guy, there was no militia. As far as I can understand it, it was one knucklehead who had a misguided understanding of who was who and what was what. As I've been telling you all along on this, I understand the anger and the frustration that we have with the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Sadly, it is a system that is not designed to do what it claims to do. It is a system that does not make things more efficient and effective. It actually overburdens the system with further regulation and controls from the top down as opposed to from the bottom up. But FEMA does not, the people on the ground do not represent the organizational frustrations that we might have with that group. In other words, if you see somebody on the ground, if you're over there, if you're trying to help out your neighbors, and you see somebody on the ground with a FEMA on their shirt, leave those people alone and let them do their work, or let them assist you in any way that they can, and you should assist them in any way that you can. These are our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers, our loved ones. These are not muckety-mucks from on high, at least on that level, on the ground level. Please treat these people with respect. I don't pretend that the organization is doing good, and frankly, I don't believe that it's designed necessarily in a way that it possibly could do better than neighbors helping neighbors, community members helping community members, charitable organizations, and obviously church groups that have been so instrumental in getting aid to those that are in need. Plus, the local authorities, the state authorities, obviously, are there to help. Most of the people on the ground with FEMA on their shirt are there to help. It's the structure itself that I have such a problem with. Please do not take this out on others, and don't be an idiot like this guy who is now in custody for doing what he did. In the meantime, by the way, speaking of the presidential election, it was something I meant to talk about yesterday. So we were out and about. I'm going to talk to you about this in a moment. We were out and about in Mount Juliet, or at least I was. Dan Mandis was there as well. There was a Love My City event at the Charlie Daniels Park, which was a great event. Got a chance to sit down and talk with Colin Ray. Man, oh, man, what a great opportunity to talk to him about 90s country and everything he does. And he put on a fabulous show along with Artemis Pyle. This was last Friday, and we were a part of it and absolutely loved it, and I hope you were out there, and I hope I got to see you. But I spoke with the mayor of Mount Juliet about something that I want to alert you to. If you've been out and about around Mount Juliet, have you seen some of these defaced Trump signs in Mount Juliet? I have the lowdown on that story, and I'm going to share it with you in a moment. So you have people defacing Donald Trump, J.D. Vance signs, big ones, those big old, I don't know what they are, 4x6. I mean, the huge ones that you see on the side of the road from time to time. In Mount Juliet, Tennessee, multiple signs have been defaced with spray paint, putting words on them like felon or liar and other defacing of property. I mean, if the shoe were on the other foot and this were Republicans doing this with Kamala Harris signs, we would be told that this was voter disenfranchisement and voter intimidation tactics. But we don't say that when it's the other way around. But I do have the lowdown in the story for you. I'm going to share it with you in just a moment. It's 12:21, almost 12:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Tennessee Men's Clinic wants to see you, gentlemen. If you're feeling low down, if you're feeling low energy, it's time to get a better energy level going and get it checked out. What's going on in your life? I mean, don't just chalk it up to middle age when it could be something very different. It could be low T levels. It could be something else. Friends, it is time for you to check out Tennessee Men's Clinic. If you're not feeling it, if you're noticing a lack of motivation in the bedroom, for example, or a lack of motivation at the gym, or whatever it might be, it's time to get with the Tennessee Men's Clinic and see how they can help. The Tennessee Men's Clinic can be found online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. There are two great locations to serve you. One is in Midtown, the other in Franklin, Tennessee. Just call up one number to schedule an appointment at either location. You'll be glad you did. Go and check it out at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com or make the call today, 615-208-9090, 208-9090.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
You don't have to wait until November to start taking your country back. You can get in the fight right now with Coin. It's the conservatives' credit card. Instead of funneling millions of dollars to the left like some of the other cards do, Coin advances conservative values and conservative charity. Earn cash back while fighting back. Apply now at coin.com. That's COIGN.com. Terms do apply. Go to coin.com/disclosures for full details and get with Coin.
All right. Looks like we might have a crash blocking the right lane 24 westbound just past a Bell Road in South Nashville. Witnesses say they heard cries for help and then gunshots on the Antioch Greenway last night. We've got an update coming up at 1 on 12:30, that is, on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you much, Mr. Ken Weaver. It's 26 minutes after the hour right now. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Matt Murphy. I live on Beckwith Road in Mount Juliet. I have a Trump sign in my yard and a Trump fight flag on my flagpole. I saw a couple of the signs last night that might have been defaced. If I catch anyone doing that to mine, I will be busting some heads. So here's the story that I heard this past Friday, and it's pretty good. So I talked to the mayor of Mount Juliet. What's his name? James McManus, I think that's right. And one of the city councilors or city commissioners, whatever they call themselves. We were talking. Then this was Ray Justice. We were talking, and I had noticed on the way to Charlie Daniels Park, there was a large, right down at the railroad tracks in Mount Juliet, at the station down there. Y'all know that's what is that? Division Street.
Yep.
No. Hold on, it's not Division. What? Anyway, am I
Next to
right?
the road. Is that Old Lebanon Dirt?
No, it's not old Lebanon Dirt Road. It's not Division. What is it? Somebody will tell me. It's James Manus too. Anyway, I noticed that there was a sign right there on the empty lot, right across the street from the railroad tracks that. Yeah, it's Western Division. Thank you, 2660. There was a big Trump sign that had spray paint on it, and the spray paint said, I couldn't really tell what it said, but I went by later on, and it said felon on it. I also went down Western Division on a different day. This was actually yesterday, and I saw a couple of other of the defaced signs that were in question. So apparently what happened, some criminal defaced the Trump signs in various yards around Mount Juliet. And so Mount Juliet 2673 said, why did you just dox yourself? I don't think I did. Did I dox myself? How in the world would I give my phone number out on the radio?
I was like, no, you live in Mount Juliet.
I live in Mount Juliet. I live, come over and see me. And if you're unwanted, you're going to get something that I don't think you want. But anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. So I'm talking to these guys, and I said, I noticed that one of these signs was defaced. He said, yeah, funny story. I don't know that I'm supposed to be telling this story now that I get in the middle of it, but I'm going to tell it anyway because I'm halfway through. So they said that the city, because the signs had been defaced, picked up the property and was going to return the property to the rightful owners because it was on, it was near a public right-of-way, and they recognized that perhaps individuals did not want defaced Trump signs on their property. And the Trump sign owners said, no, we want you to return the defaced signs to where they were because we want everyone in Mount Juliet to see what was done on these signs. We want everyone to witness what the political left is attempting to do. They're trying to suppress the vote to the point that they're willing to destroy other people's property. So the property owners who owned the sign said, no, take those back and put them where they came from. We want everyone to see what the other guys are willing to do to destroy our property against the law. And I say good for them. Let's show everyone what they really are. When they show you what they really are, believe them. It is 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, homicide unit detectives are working with specialized investigations and special victims division detectives to try to find the suspect from last night's fatal shooting of a woman on the Mill Creek Greenway in Antioch. 34-year-old Alyssa Lokitz was exercising on the trail when witnesses heard her yelling for help. Witnesses reported seeing a man, possibly Asian, on top of Lokitz before shots were fired. Others who frequent that area tell Channel 4 this is frightening.
I feel for her because it could have been anybody. It could have been any of these young ladies that's walking and just trying to, get out here and enjoy the atmosphere. It could have been anyone.
The suspect fled the parking area in a dark-colored 4-door sedan towards Old Hickory Boulevard. Police ask you call Crime Stoppers if you know anything about this. Meanwhile, activists with Mothers Over Murder and the Tennessee Hispanic Action Network gathering with politicians yesterday to call for changes in their communities following Saturday's deadly shooting that killed one man and injured 9 others downtown.
Talk about safety all the time. Well, let's put our money where our mouths are and actually do something about it this session. We can't do this work in a silo, and we need help. We need organizations. We need community members. We need our elected officials. At what point is it a state of emergency for people of color?
Police arrested 24-year-olds Marquez Davis and DeAnthony Brown, charging them with criminal homicide in the death of 24-year-old Von K. Johnson and injuring 9 others, including 3 young girls, one 12-year-old, the other 2 14. Police say Davis is currently serving a 10-year probated sentence after robbery and felony gun and drug convictions in April. And right now in our nation's capital, the Biden administration warning Israel it risks weapons funding if it doesn't boost humanitarian aid in Gaza within 30 days. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
We've been telling you about this wonderful event being held all month long at the Glock store. The Glock store makes it so much fun. I mean, obviously, Second Amendment issues can be quite serious, and we understand that. And the Glock store understands that. And they take what they do very seriously. They take their training of you and their Shoot 270 room seriously. It's why they have rooms, no lanes, etc. But the Glock store knows how to have a good time as well. And right now, they're having a shoot house or a spook house, shoot house. And it's a lot of fun. Let me tell you about it. So for $30, you can run their shooting course, and they'll walk you through the course so you understand what you're doing to begin with. For $30, you'll get 20 rounds of ammunition, and to make it a level playing field, they're going to give you the same model Glock handgun to be used for everyone going through the shooting event. And at the end of the month, you could win a $1,000 customized Glock from the Glock store. That's right, $1,000 customized Glock. I've seen this thing. It's a Halloween Glock, baby, and they've got it for you. And all it costs is $30. As a matter of fact, they're staying open until 7 on Fridays, until 7 on Saturdays, so you have an opportunity to get by and do this thing. So if you fashion yourself a fairly good shot, and you want to take a shot at this and run through the course, it's worth the $30 just to do it. And you have an opportunity to win the $1,000 customized Glock from the one and only Glock store. Go to GlockStore.com for more information. That's GlockStore.com. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in, and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice. It is the Libertarian Lunch, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. I failed to ask you, Mason. Episode 672 of the proceedings today, heard on radio, 99.7 FM, all across Middle Tennessee. From border to border, from northern Alabama to southern Kentucky and all points in between. You can also catch us anywhere you go. Internet streaming is up and available. Anywhere you stream news or information, music, podcast, you can stream us. And then, of course, there's Super Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch to see my ugly face on television and my long hair. Which I have product in today. You know,
yeah. I can tell a little bit.
Yeah.
Keeping it organized.
Trying to.
In check.
What is episode 672? What's our title today, Mason?
Seems like Murphy is tired of winning. Time to focus on him losing that long hair.
That's pretty good.
I'm
trying.
Like that. I'm trying.
I worry. I don't do well in the lead as much as I think we're in the lead. More on that coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Right now, as we try to do from time to time, I'm desperate, and I'm determined, not desperate, I'm determined not to lose sight of the fact that our neighbors over in East Tennessee, our neighbors over in Western North Carolina, they are still picking up the pieces. They are still very much in a fragile state of existence in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Thank God the state of Florida was well prepared for Hurricane Milton, and Milton did not exacerbate the already pre-existing situation that has made life quite tenuous for many people in Western North Carolina. We've been talking to Steve Antle, who is our go-to guy. He lived in Nashville for any number of years, and he is now back in Fairview, North Carolina, which is a suburb of Asheville. And we've been talking with him, and it's time to check back in with Steve to see what's going on this day and what happened over the weekend. Steve, thank you for being back with us. How are you, sir?
Thanks, Matt. We had a big weekend. If you're following my Facebook. But anyway, today I'm at Lowe's getting ready to go in here and cut a deal with my good manager in Arden, North Carolina, to get some shelving to put in the trailers that we got from Mr. Meisler from Meisler Trucking, from Brent Long, and from B&W Trucking out of Burlington, North Carolina. We're still, trying to deal with space issues. We're pretty much chock full right now. I mean, the pipeline's full. The warehouse is filling up down in Greenville. And so now the concentration is trying to get stuff out to people, let people know where we're at, what we have, and if they can't get to us, then I'm lining up routes of transport to them. You asked about this past weekend. We had a big adventure Sunday. I had a Fox News reporter, a friend of mine, Audrey Conklin, who had a interview set up with Jesse and Mackenzie Craig up in Craigtown. And wouldn't you know it, we hit it at a time when the power company had all the roads in and out of the area completely blocked. Couldn't get our cars in. So we ended up, I ran into some out-of-state Maryland police and firefighters. These are guys who had already finished their designated mission, but they stayed on, like, voluntarily. Their departments gave them leave. And so they're still up here now, not doing their original work, but doing just doing physical work. And these guys loaded us all on their four-wheelers and their razors, and I managed to talk the cop and the electric company into letting us squeeze by, and there's video of it. So, but we managed to get up there, do the interview, and I watched the interview be done, and we did a walking tour. And I encourage anybody, if you have the Fox app, if you go to the Fox website, it's on the national Fox website, Audrey Conklin, and it's about Jesse and Mackenzie Craig. Everybody needs to watch this because this is the heart of the matter, and it's not just them, but they're getting the focus because he lost 11 members of his own family, including both his parents. So everybody needs to find that link and watch that story. Another one that was sent to me by somebody else, and I think I tagged you or sent it to you, was a Sean Ryan episode 138, about some guys that are special operators from Florida that came up to help and some of the problems that they ran into with local authorities here while they were trying to help. So, but that being said, we're doing good.
Well, hold on a second, because I want to make sure that people understand the story that you're talking about. We have to catch some folks up if they're not aware, and many are, because we've been trying to keep people up to date on this. Mackenzie and Jesse. Jesse lost both of his parents, two of his cousins, his aunt, his uncle, his great aunt, and uncle in a mudslide down a single path through the Craigtown Valley. And that's probably, what is that from you? That's got to be a stone's throw, right, Steve?
Yes. Yeah, it's just over a hill, basically a couple miles.
And 11 of his family members perished in one fell swoop. And Jesse and Mackenzie Craig are a testimony to the spirit of the United States of America and to the spirit of the South. And I did see their conversation with Fox News, and it is powerful because of just, I mean, obviously they're in mourning. They mourn the loss of their family members. They've lost all of their earthly possessions to speak of, but they believe in moving forward, and the family nature and just the community spirit that surrounds them is just, it's powerful to see that level of godly spirit working through those people.
Yeah. They're just great people, and Mackenzie's been my daughter's best friend since they were little kids, and we're related to the family through other routes, through multiple family trees that branch out there. But they're the epitome of what's going on. But we got a lot of other people, and like Jesse was emphasizing in that interview, like the GoFundMe account that they have for them is going nuts, and that's great. But Jesse was quick to tell the reporter and us that, that money's for that area. It's for that tight-knit group of people. It's not for just the Craig family. And there's a lot of Craigs up there that don't have the last name Craig, but they got wiped out.
Right.
So, and I also posted, I know people are, asking, like exactly where we're at. So I made a map the other night, and I posted it on my Facebook. So if you need to know where all these places are that I'm always talking about, that'll give you an idea of the layout, how you get in, and how to get out, and how to get around.
What is the world? I mean, it's been 20 days thereabouts. I think almost 19 days. What is? I mean, you got an opportunity. You spent the first night at home the last a couple of nights ago, where you actually had a night off. Which congratulations!
Last night, yeah.
Congratulations for you, Steve, in finally getting an evening off. It feels to me like we're getting, structurally, we're getting a little bit of a better foundation under the rebuilding process, the recovery process. Is that a fair assertion?
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about, and this was the main reason why I wanted to talk, because I can't put my finger on what I'm about to say. I'm just saying it's a feeling that I have, and I have a feeling that as people, both here in the area, like Asheville in general, Western North Carolina, the people that are starting to get stuff back, power, water, cable, whatever, they're starting to get back into their lives. They're having to go back to work because their bosses want them there and so forth. And there's just a feeling that things are starting to, people are so wanting to go back to normal. And even myself last night, I'm sitting there watching a baseball game, and I'm like, feeling like I really need to be doing something. So I pick up my phone and I start, trying to do all the stuff that I couldn't do, putting some videos together and whatnot. And, but I feel like I don't want people to let go, because for me, when I come down here to town where I'm at now, it's like the regular world. And I want people to remember that when I go up to Craigtown or wherever late, I'll be up at Nesbitt Chapel later, you get jerked right back to what has happened. And the more time that goes by, the more that's going to be prevalent, even for people, even in our own churches and our communities. People are just, they're wanting so much to go back to the way it was, but we can't let people lose focus. If that makes sense, I don't know. It's just a gut feeling that I've had. So, and that started a couple of days ago.
Part of it, and I get it, Steve, and you're living through it. I'm not here to tell you anything that you don't already know, but, the world moves fast. We've got an election coming up, and there's just the media cycle is so immediate, and it moves on that we can easily. And one of the reasons I just feel strongly compelled to have you as kind of our agent, our witness on the ground in Fairview and in the surrounding communities is because I don't want to forget, and I want to make sure that we understand that there are people that are still suffering, that are still picking through debris, that are still living in hotel rooms, that don't have anything, in terms of worldly possessions any longer because the hurricane swept them all away. Those people will need our continued support. The federal government, we cannot rely on them. Even the state government in North Carolina, I don't know how effective they've been, but we can rely on communities and churches and charitable organizations to do the work that we ought to be doing. And it's one of the reasons I feel so strongly about keeping this connection going.
Yeah, and so I get the same thing every day. People contacting me, what do you need, what do you need, what do you need? And I keep telling them the same thing. The needs change constantly. I was just talking about this with Debbie and Rick, who drove up from Atlanta with the heaters and stuff today. We were having a discussion standing in the parking lot. It's getting to the point now where things that are needed, really, it's going to come down to money. And I'm not talking about money to me. I'm talking about money in general, money to the GoFundMes, money to the churches, cash, people that are going to need stuff, but we don't know what they're going to need. If I tell somebody I need X, Y, Z today, and I need all you can get of it, well, I might not need all of that a week from now. I might need something else. So I obviously, like the heaters and the stoves and stuff like that, I'm not worried about the more the merrier on that stuff, because the winter's going to be here for months. But there's only so much other stuff we can take, and so we're just chock full. I don't want to tell people don't donate.
That's a great thing, by the way. It's a great thing that you're full, and it's a great thing that you're letting us know. because, I mean, I get it. I mean, you need what you need, but once you have enough of it, you don't want to dissuade people from giving, but at the same time, you need to tell people.
Yeah. If they want to give, the people that have reached out to me, if they want to continue to give through myself, that's fine. I'm going to keep doing what I can do until I can't do it anymore. If they want to give money direct to families, look up the GoFundMes for this area. There's a lot. If they want to do through the church route, do that. I did an interview yesterday, a Zoom call while I was out at Nesbitt Chapel with your local Fox channel there, WZTV or whatever it is.
We call it, Fox 17. Fox 17.
Yeah,
that's right.
Karen Sanchez was the reporter. So that'll be coming out in your market only. Maybe tomorrow or the next day. She's supposed to let me know. But, I was telling her, because she was asking, what do people need? And I was trying to explain what I just told you. It's ever changing. So financial is starting to become more prevalent. And I got a text from a guy just a little bit ago. I won't say the insurance company, but his homeowners is not going to cover it for a lot of this damage. And so he's on our local page, asking for help. He needs $1,500, a couple grand, to do this work on his house that got flooded, and so it's going to be stuff like that. It's not going to be I need diapers and I need bottled water. It's going to be people that they can't get help through the normal channels or their insurance or whatever.
I'm sorry to cut it short, but really quickly, have you heard any report? There was a report online, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I've not been able to corroborate any of it. It sounds fantastical. It sounds untrue. But a woman by the name of Dr. Molly James, who has a considerable following and claims to be a surgeon, who says that she's on site, claimed that in Avery, North Carolina, 15 people died overnight due to hypothermia. Have you heard
I don't know anything about it, but I'm not discounting it because they're a long way from us.
Well, I mean, I understand that they're much north. They're way north of Asheville. Yeah. I'm just, I can't corroborate this in any fashion. It seems unbelievable, but I'm choosing to believe the unbelievable until proven otherwise. But Steve can be found on Venmo at Steve-Antle. It's A-N-T-L-E, and you can find him on Facebook as well. Steve will check in with you over the next couple of days. Keep the faith, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Take care. This is Steve Antle. Checking in with him. He's our guy in Fairview, North Carolina. He's been doing great work over there. It's 53 after the hour on Super Talk. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Men of Valor wants you to know a couple of facts. These are just facts. That of all of the men that go to prison, and they believe in, a hardline approach to criminal activity at Men of Valor. They will tell you that if you call them and you talk to Raul or any of the team, they'll say, look, we believe that you need to be tough on these criminals and you need to sentence them to real time as punishment for the crimes that they have committed, particularly those crimes that are of a violent nature. That said, 90% of the men who are in prison will get out. That is a fact. And around 50% of the men that get out of prison will return within 3 years without some form of disciple, without some form of opportunity to be given hope and to be given a different vision of the future. And that's what Men of Valor does. They give individuals a different vision for the future, one where they become contributing members of society. Men of Valor needs volunteers in the prisons. They need volunteers at their campuses, at the aftercare reentry service. They need job partners and Bible study teachers, mentors that are willing to disciple men on a day-to-day basis. Is that you? Do you feel drawn to this opportunity? I hope you do. Go to movministry.com to find out more. That's movministry.com. And tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the wonderful Men of Valor.
1 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a crash blocking the right lane, 24 westbound, just past Bell Road. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Channel 4 says people are frightened to learn that a woman was murdered on the Antioch Greenway last night.
It's not going to deter me from walking. I'm just going to be more safe about it because I still want to, try to be active as I can. But it was alarming, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm being more safe about getting out here and walking.
Yeah, Metro Police say it appears 34-year-old Alyssa Lokitz was exercising before she was murdered on the Mill Creek Greenway in Antioch last night around 5:30. They are looking for a man whom witnesses described as possibly Asian who left the parking area in a dark-colored four-door sedan. And one of the two men Metro Police say they arrested for Saturday's deadly mass shooting had just been convicted of robbery and felony drug and gun charges in April, but set free on a 10-year probated sentence. Police identify him as 24-year-old Marquez Davis, whom they say had a gun last night when they arrested him, and 24-year-old DeAnthony Brown was arrested too, both charged in the death of 24-year-old Von K. Johnson. 9 others, including 3 young girls, one 12, the other 2 14, were injured in a volley of gunfire. Police say Davis and Brown are affiliated with local gangs. And today, the U.S. Supreme Court hearing a case about the reach of seeking monetary damages under the RICO Act. The case involves a truck driver, Douglas Horn, who failed a drug test and lost his job after taking a CBD product. Horn says the product advertised as having no THC, and he was misled. He sued the company under the RICO Act, and justices will determine whether that's admissible or whether Horn's case should fall under a personal injury claim. We get more from Devin Dwyer.
The argument they make is that this company engaged in wire fraud and mail fraud by marketing this product as THC-free all over the place, including in YouTube videos, customer service line, and, of course, the advertising itself. They said that was simply false. That would violate the RICO Act as a corrupt business practice. So that's what they're attempting to argue. But the real question today is, can they recover damages?
Early voting has begun in a hotly contested 2020 battleground state, Georgia. Here's Stephen Portnoy.
Georgia's Secretary of State says the first day of early voting is going well.
We're getting people checked in less than 3 minutes.
Brad Raffensperger says Georgia officials have tried to model their check-in system after Chick-fil-A's.
Why can't we have fun? Why can't we have short lines?
Raffensperger has promised Georgia will post its early voting results by 8 p.m. on election night. Separately, in a move that would prevent local officials from jumping in with allegations of fraud, a state judge has ruled that counties have no choice but to certify the results.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
You know, oftentimes when I'm talking about efficient heating and cooling, I talk about smelling that smell when you first turn your heater on. I just smelled it here in the studio. I guess we're turning our heaters on for the first time, and they did not take my advice to call Efficient Heating and Cooling and get them out here to check those heating coils. Well, let's not let this be you, shall we? Now, I understand that tonight and tomorrow it's going to be fairly cool, And temperatures down in the 30s might necessitate turning on the heat. Have you gotten your heater maintenance through Efficient Heating and Cooling and Jeff Eddy's wonderful program where he never charges you over $125 no matter where you are, no matter how many heaters you might have on your residential property? And oftentimes it's much less than that. Well, if you've not made the call, go ahead and make that call to make sure that your heater is running as it should as fall becomes winter and the conditions get even cooler. Now, if it's time to replace, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem, and they're ready, willing, and able to recommend the best unit for you. But he's going to get maximum life out of that unit through Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. It's what they do. You can trust Jeff Eddy. If your heater's not ready, call Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or efficienthvac.net. Hey, y'all remember that Real Men for Harris commercial that came out a couple of days ago that has been roundly lampooned on social media platforms?
Yeah, the Soylent Boys.
I have the real men behind that ad, quote unquote. The real men behind the Harris masculinity ad. They're all actors, by the way. We'll give you a rundown on those guys coming up in just a couple of minutes. By the way, it's the Matt Murphy Show. My name is Matt Murphy. Here till 3 o'clock. We'll hand off to Brian Wilson at that time. I'm assisted ably, capably by Mason Fleming, who's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as possible. He's there in the absence of Bell K. Bell is under the weather, has been throughout the course of the weekend, yesterday and today. Hopefully, Bell will be back and better than ever coming up tomorrow. But if not, we've got Mason. We've got Ken Weaver back in the newsroom. He gathers headlines and delivers those headlines twice an hour or when news breaks, and we appreciate him as well. So I don't have anything to say about this story except, well, I have a lot of things to say about this story. I take that back. But if you've not heard of the story involving this Arkansas father and his 14-year-old girl, let me tell you something. There is a concept called jury nullification. Everybody familiar with the concept? If not, don't worry, I'll feed you baby birds. So the idea is this, that in the United States system of justice, we believe in the rule of law. And traditionally what you have a group of individuals that are selected through a process under which they become jurors and they sit in judgment of those accused of criminal activity. Or, in some cases, it can be civil trial as well. But for our focus today, we're talking about criminal activity. And I've long said that there are certain crimes that were I sitting on a jury, you would be hard-pressed to have me not nullify that jury. And by that, I mean, while I might recognize that under the letter of the law that someone has violated the law, I believe in the premise of the violation, or I disagree with the law so much that I'm willing to knowingly go against what is the law and refuse to convict that individual. I have long said and this is controversial, and I know that it is, but I disagree with marijuana laws. Now, there aren't so many of them anymore, but when I first started doing this 25 years ago, I said I disagree with low-level marijuana offenses that would put people in jail. I'm not putting somebody in jail for a year for having a quarter bag of pot or whatever it might be. I'm not talking about drug dealers. I'm talking about people that were in possession. That's just an example. I don't want to argue about it. That's just an example of what I'm talking about. Let me tell you something. If I'm on this jury, and I won't be because I don't live in Arkansas, there is zero chance this guy gets convicted of anything. Here's the story. Defense lawyers for an Arkansas father who is accused of fatally shooting a suspected stalker of his 14-year-old daughter will likely get reduced charges, according to an expert. Aaron Spencer is 36 years of age. He is the father of a 14-year-old girl. He reported his daughter missing last Tuesday in Lonoke County to the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office. And if I'm mispronouncing that county, I apologize. So apparently the backstory is this, that a 67-year-old man by the name of Michael Fossler had some contact with the 14-year-old girl over the summer and had been charged with stalking and raping the 14-year-old girl. Okay? So a 67-year-old man has been charged with raping a 14-year-old girl, and he's out, I assume, on bond. And that he had, obviously, a no-contact order with their daughter. According to the Spencer family, Aaron and Heather, they wrote on Facebook that Fossler had a no-contact order with the daughter and that she and her husband feared that Foster was approaching their daughter again in order to kill her prior to him going to trial on charges that he sexually molested her. He raped her. So you understand the situation. This guy, this 67-year-old, I don't know what the background is and how he came in contact with the 14-year-old girl, but he did. And he is now accused of stalking and raping this child. He's let out on bond, and the father and the mother realize that their daughter is missing. And they called the sheriff's department and they said, our daughter's missing. We need help finding her. And the sheriff's department was dispatched. And Aaron Spencer went out to look for his daughter. And he found his daughter with Foster. More on what happened next in a moment. Backstory is that Fossler was arrested by another agency, not the Lonoke County Sheriff's Department, but another agency this past July on charges of stalking a child and sexual assault, and that Fossler was released after posting a $50,000 bond. Spencer found his daughter with the man who was accused of raping her in that guy's truck. And he shot and he killed him. Now, we can't have widespread vigilantism going on in our midst. And I understand that we live in a society where we have the rule of law and all the appropriate channels point to putting this individual behind bars for the rest of his life. All I can tell you is that if I'm on that jury and I understand the circumstances surrounding what happened appropriately, I'm not convicting Spencer of anything. It reminds me a little bit, remember the story out of Texas? There was I might get a few of these details wrong. There was a story out of Texas where a father was looking for his I think this girl was 14 as well, was looking for his 14-year-old girl, and he found his 14-year-old daughter and caught a man in the midst of attempting to rape his 14-year-old daughter, and he beat that man to death. And he went before a jury of his peers in Texas, charged with the murder of this man who was raping his daughter at the time that he found them. And that jury exonerated this fella. They acquitted him. And I would have acquitted him too. And for Aaron Spencer, he says that he was in imminent fear of his daughter losing her life because the only witness to the assault was the daughter herself. At the time of the shooting, which Lonoke investigators are piecing together, they say hypothetically if Spencer went out and grabbed a dinner for a couple of hours and then showed up later and found Fossler with the daughter, then that's one thing. But they could argue heat of passion, and that would reduce his sentence. Well, you wouldn't have to do that if it were me on the jury. Spencer's attorneys, according to defense experts, could also argue that their client shot Fossler in self-defense, which would negate murder charges entirely. I don't know that I have anything else to say about it except that jury nullification is a real thing, and God bless this dad for attempting to protect his 14-year-old girl from a 67-year-old predator. And also, I believe that we need to advance a movement within our society, and this would not necessarily qualify because I don't take these things lightly. I'm not speaking flippantly when I say this, that grown individuals that are willing to forcibly rape children under the age of 12 need to face the death penalty in the United States of America, period. End of the story. I do not believe that it is cruel and unusual punishment. I do believe that it could serve as a deterrent. I do believe we need to take a strong hand against this. And I do not believe that if you are a grown adult human being without mental disability and you have the mental ability to rape a child under the age of 12, there is no rehabilitation for you and you need to die. We need to eliminate you from society altogether. I believe that. I think we need to take a firmer hand on that. Because what is happening to that child is potentially worse than death itself. And if that is the standard by which we commit to the death penalty, then we need to include that within the standard. And that is what I'll have to say about that. Bonnie is next in Tullahoma. Hey, Bonnie, how are you?
Hey, Matt Murphy, I just figured out that you're the one that I like to talk to during the day. I got all those names mixed up.
Oh, that's all good. I'm glad you like to talk to me. I like to talk to you too, Bonnie.
Well, you're funny, and you remind me of Phil Valentine because you let the show be about us, and we like that.
Well, y'all are the most important component to the show, Bonnie. You are the most important person here.
I know it.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. What's on your mind today?
Well, I agree with you about, I think that we need to have, now, the listeners are not going to like this, but I think that anybody that murders, period, whether their head's in the right place or not, I don't care. They need to be murdered. Within 24 hours, our court needs to kill them. I mean, they need to be dead.
Well, so I don't know about the 24-hour provision, but I'll tell you this. We need to take a firmer approach with some of the, but, you know, we like to believe, we like to pretend ourselves that there is some level of recidivism that exists that is acceptable. We like to pretend ourselves that there's rehabilitation going on, too. And the recidivism exists, rehabilitation doesn't. I don't know how there's any rehabilitation of these monsters.
Yeah, but Mr. Murphy, are you there?
I am.
But, you know, in the Bible, it talks about obey the laws of the land. And I think our country is out of control. Period, is out of control. And what I think is going to happen if the government doesn't straighten up and FEMA and all this stuff, if things don't get right and American man takes too much crap, he's going to start taking the law in his own hands, just like that man did. Back in the olden days, you take them behind the bush and you just show them what it's all about.
Well, that's right. We need to take that approach with regard to justice. And thank you for the call, Bonnie, and God bless you. You're so kind. I don't deserve the kind words that you offer me, but I do appreciate them. If you do not see the law taking care of its own business, the people will take over. Society will do what our legal system will not if we see wrongs being committed in our midst. And that's the last thing you want. You don't want that mob rule or vigilante justice. You want rule of law. But at the same time, there are times when I would step up to the plate and I would damn well nullify what's going on in front of me if I believe that a wrong is being committed and I have the ability to nullify it. And I'm just telling you, if I'm on the jury and this guy told me that he found the 67-year-old with his 14-year-old daughter, This person that had already been accused of raping his 14-year-old daughter was now in a truck with his 14-year-old. I'm going to assume I know what's going on, and I'm going to kill that dude, DRT, which stands for dead right there. I'm not going to wait for the next 10 years for the legal system to work out its issues. I'm going to take care of my business. And if I'm on the jury, I'm going to take care of business too. It's just the way that it is. And as far as the death penalty for child predators and child rapists goes, I'm just a hard line on it. And look, I can understand why some would say, oh, no, 14 years old or 16 years old. I'm fine with that too. I'm fine with that discussion. But the bottom line is this. If you are willing to do that to a child, you are mentally deficient to the point where you are, by definition, you cannot exist in a civilized society. And for the entirety of human history, we've taken care of our business with regard to what to do with those types of people or those types of animals. It's time to get back to that a little bit. Through the rule of law, sure, but get back to it nonetheless. It's 122 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Who is United Structural Systems? Well, for the last 30 years, they have been the go-to foundation repair and waterproofing company serving Middle Tennessee. That's right, since 1994. That is 30 full years of service with over 25,000 satisfied customers. When it comes to foundation repair, if you've noticed doors or windows sticking in your home, if you've noticed walls bowing, bricks cracking, stair-step cracks in masonry mortar joints, then the possibility exists strongly that you have foundation issues. You need to do something about it. On the waterproofing front, if you've noticed a musty or moldy smell coming out of your basement or your crawl space, standing water in your crawl space, cracks in your basement floors, hardwood floors that are cupping, your house is telling you something. It needs relief through United Structural Systems. You don't want to call that fly-by-night guy when it comes to the foundation of your home. Only the best for you, USS. Testimonials available on the website. More information on the website, USSTN.com, or give them a call today and schedule a no-obligation appointment. I encourage you to do this. They guarantee their best at USS. 615-488-7855, 488-7855 for USS.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Gathering the very latest information on the shooting death of a woman whom witnesses said heard crying out for help last night on the Antioch Greenway. That's coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you much, Mr. Weaver. Looking forward to that. 126 Super Talk. Easy for me to say. 99.7 WTN. I'm going to talk politics right after the bottom of the hour and where we are on this election, because I'm looking at some of the numbers. You guys know how I am on polls. I don't really pay any attention to them 4 months out, 3 months out, but 3 weeks out, people are actively voting. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like how good we feel about it. I don't like how comfortable I feel in this victory. I don't like how comfortable I feel that we're going to take over the Senate. I don't like how comfortable I feel that the House of Representatives will remain in Republican. I'm not a Republican. I'm well on record as establishing that. I would not belong to any club that would have me as a member. However, I vote Republican because I believe it best represents, not fully, but best represents my values, my belief system, and what I believe government is there to do. I feel odd that I feel so good 3 weeks out, considering I know that the political opposition that we face will do anything and say anything to get reelected. I mean, am I to believe the conspiracy theory that exists, that the entire process by which they replaced Biden with Harris was to dispatch of Harris, giving up the 2024 election cycle, recognizing that they had to get rid of Harris to move forward in 2028 with a better candidate? Do I believe that now? Maybe. Becky's in Goodlettsville with a thought on the death penalty. Thank you for calling, Becky. I hope you're well.
Hey, Matt, I'm your number one fan. I love your show. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And I love it that you're bold. You're not a cupcake. I mean, you're bold. And I love that. Now, I'm on the other side. When we talk about the guy that shot the 67-year-old man, I'm totally with that guy. Now, I'm on the other side in saying I was sexually abused by my grandfather, who was a judge in East Tennessee. I won't mention his name. And nobody would believe me growing up. And then he got caught doing something to a lady at a nursing home.
Oh, no.
And he got indicted by the grand jury. And I just want to say, as a sexual abuse survivor, the pain, what I had to go through. But I will say this. I went through years and years of therapy. I gave my life to Christ. I actually forgave him. But it took a long time. And I am for the death penalty. I totally agree with you 1,000%. Especially if it's kids under 14, because it I had to undo a lot of things because I didn't understand it. Especially a guy that's, he's a judge. He was a judge. He's dead now. But I mean,
You said it was your grandfather?
Yes, he was a general sentence judge in East Tennessee.
I'm so sorry, Becky.
Well, I appreciate you.
I can't imagine I can't imagine any of that. I don't begin to understand how you would be able to process that. I guess it would have to be a lot of prayer and a lot of therapy.
It was, and I tell you, going through therapy was so great. But the other thing was when I gave my life to Christ, and then I told him I forgave him, and I really did. And on his deathbed, he had a stroke. And he couldn't talk, but he was trying to communicate with me. But, it's just awful what people have to go through. So I'm all for the death penalty.
Well, Becky, I'm glad. I mean, you feel comfortable in it now. You feel good. I mean, not good about it, but you feel good about you now.
I do. I appreciate you asking that. I really do. And I work with kids part-time. I do a lot of volunteer work with kids that have gone through the same thing I went through. Because hurt people can hurt people. And that's why it's so important to get the help people need before they start becoming that person. So, yes.
This puts a voice to it. This puts a face to it, and I appreciate you calling up, Becky, and being willing to share your personal story like that.
Well, I appreciate you. You are my favorite. Not hurt anybody's feelings there, but you are the best.
You're very sweet. Thank you, Becky. I appreciate that. I will not remind Dan Mandis or Chris Hand or Brian Wilson of that every moment that I see them. I promise not to do that.
Right.
But I am Becky's favorite. You heard that.
I did.
You got that on tape, right?
No. Oh, no, the system just crashed.
That's unfortunate. I'll tell you
Or
what.
would you ask listeners to inundate those three with the same message?
No, I would never do that. I mean, really the people like to listen to one thing on this radio show, and that's Ken Weaver with the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Metro Police are asking the public for information on a man who left the scene of a murder last night in a dark-colored four-door sedan. Witnesses say he appeared to be Asian on top of a woman who was crying out for help before being shot. Police say the woman was exercising on Mill Creek Greenway in Antioch when it happened around 5:30 last night. Detectives think she may have been raped, too. She's been identified as 34-year-old Alyssa Lokitz. Again, that suspect left the parking area there in a dark-colored four-door sedan. Metro Police have two men with gang affiliations in custody for Saturday's shooting after the TSU homecoming parade. Security video shows people terrified, scrambling to safety. Many are speaking out.
And I was having a ball, and then all of a sudden, just chaos. To come for fun, and then, hold a child that's not mine. Yeah. I need people to understand that as a community, that's supposed to be a safe space for everybody. A little girl crying out for her mom, and I'm covering her.
Police arrested 24-year-olds Marquez Davis and DeAnthony Brown at a short-term rental on 26th Avenue North and charged them with criminal homicide. Police say Davis was convicted of 3 felonies in April, but set free on a 10-year probated sentence. And they say he was carrying a gun before detectives arrested him last night. Business news, Walgreens to close 1,200 stores over the next 3 years, although it hasn't said which stores it will close. Walgreens operates about 8,500 stores across the country. The company's been struggling for years with tight reimbursement for its prescription drugs and the rising costs of operating its stores. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Craft Body Scan has been in Nashville for about 2 years now. They've been in existence for a full 7 years. And to celebrate their 7th anniversary, they're giving you the gift, $700 off their full body scans. Our friends at Craft Body Scan, they're celebrating 7 incredible years of helping people take control of their health by giving you an amazing opportunity for huge savings, but also to see your health clearly. A full body scan truly helps you do that. It helps you spot potential health risk early, even before you can feel it. It's fast. It's non-invasive. It scans key areas like your chest, your stomach area, your pelvis, evaluating heart and lung health, bone density, and so much more. You know, when I first started talking about Craft Body Scan, I took it upon myself to get one of these full body scans, so I knew exactly what I was talking about, and I understood. You know, I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac, too. I want to make sure that everything I know, I know what's going on inside of my body. Well, you know what? I got a great report back. I couldn't believe it. My lungs look great. My heart looks great. Everything else looks great. You can get that report, that peace of mind as well, by going to craftbodyscan.com right now. That's craftbodyscan.com, or call 615-436-1000. 615-436-1000 for Craft Body Scan. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Craft Body Scan. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in, and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice. Super Talk 99.7 WT and Matt Murphy on a Tuesday. Thank you for being around. Good afternoon. Hope everyone's well. 1:39. So I did not realize, as I was telling you the story of the experience I had last Friday, we were at the Love Our City event in Mount Juliet. Dan Mandis was there, the award-winning Dan Mandis. Yours truly, Matt Murphy, there. The Super Talk team. We got a chance to sit down and talk with Colin Ray. What a great guy he is. You know, Colin Ray, he had like 11 number one. I don't know how many number ones. There were a lot of hits back in the day. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Love Me. I mean, all of those. And just a fabulous guy. Talked to us about life on the road and all of these types of things. Had a great conversation with him. And more importantly than our conversation with Colin Ray, had a great opportunity to say hello to all of you. If you were out there, thank you so much for it. Well, I spoke with the mayor of Mount Juliet, and I mentioned, as I was talking to the mayor, and I was talking to one of the commissioners, Ray Justice, we were discussing the number of Trump Vance signs that I saw that had been defaced. And they told me the story of, after realizing that several of them had been defaced, they gathered them up as a city, assuming that the people who owned the signs, they didn't own the signs, but assuming those that owned the signs would want them to be gathered up, they gathered them up. And the owners of the signs then said, no, put them back out. We want everyone to see what they did to our signs. We want everyone to see what some jerks did to our freedom of expression, our ability to express ourselves with regard to whom we're voting for and who we encourage others to vote for. Well, I did not realize, as I was telling the story last hour, that there is a story out right now at the Tennessean. I read this stuff so you don't have to, about the Wilson County Republican Party in their frustration with the theft and vandalism of their Donald Trump J.D. Vance signs. They're now asking the help from the public and offering a cash reward. The party office is offering a $1,500 reward for information related to multiple cases of vandalism to political signs that promote Trump Vance. According to Brad Lytle, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Brad. I think I've met Brad in the past, and if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. Wilson County Republican Party Chair Brad Lytle. It's happening again and again and again, and we're fed up, he said. It's happening elsewhere, but we think maybe the reward will be enough to get someone turned in. Wilson County GOP started with a $200 reward, but Lytle said multiple people chipped in to raise the award to $1,500. 4 of the party's Trump signs in Mount Juliet were vandalized. 2 have been stolen, one in Lebanon and the other one in Mount Juliet. District Attorney General Jason Lawson confirmed that police are investigating the incidents that include, and I'm not promoting this, but this is kind of, somebody cut out the T in Trump in the sign. So it says Trump Vance, Make America Great Again, and they cut out the T so it says Rump Vance, which is 13-year-old humor, which is why I think it's kind of funny. I mean, you can't do that. We can't be vandalizing things like that, but I think it's kind of funny. Rump Vance. I mean, it's much better than the stupid spray painting of felon or liar or whatever. That's so cheap and, I mean, easy. Now, the cutting out of the T, that's funny. Campaign sign theft and vandalism is rampant during election cycles, rarely prosecuted. The Wilson County Democrat Party has claimed that they also experienced recent sign vandalism and theft this election year. According to Chair Derek Hammond, for example, the group's headquarters building at 200 West Main Street in Lebanon was tagged with numerous Trump stickers leading up to the August 1st primary election. It's a regular occurrence, they said. So just a little update on what's going on there. Stephen's on the road. Stephen, thank you for your call. How are you?
Hey, good, sir. Thanks for taking my call, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm just getting ready to go through Charlotte. So, but I just want to tell you a quick story to add on to your buddy you're talking to that's been in Asheville. I stopped at a truck stop earlier and saw a convoy of about 15 to 20 bucket trucks with the big electrical spools on both sides. And I got out and was talking to the guys, and they were actually from Canada. They've been in Asheville for the last 18 days, and they were on their way back home. So, good for them, man. And, I guess they did a lot of good hard work. They was, a little dirtied up and big beards and flannel jackets on and everything. So they came down and chipped in. I'm sure they got paid, by FEMA or somebody like that for doing it. But, that just goes to show that somebody's reaching out, going a long way to come and help, get the power back on and get the roads cleaned up out here.
No, that's great news. And if you guys see any of those dudes, any of those road crews, any of those electrical workers, or anybody that's obviously been assisting in East Tennessee or in Western North Carolina or anywhere else due to storm recovery, I mean, buy them a cup of coffee, buy them lunch, buy them dinner. If you can, show them how much we appreciate what they do. I understand that they're getting paid, many of them. Some of them perhaps aren't. They certainly, in a lot of cases, are not getting paid what they're worth. So just show them a little love out there if you can.
Yep, definitely. I definitely thought of it, but they were pretty well taken care of, and they were in good spirits. So that was good. Can I comment real quick on the previous callers on the death penalty?
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I'm with that too. The thing is there's a lot of there's a lot of levels to it. Definitely, if somebody's found guilty of murder, like a monstrous murder that's killed multiple people or just killed one person, once that gavel comes down, we shouldn't waste any taxpayer money or any more time on allowing that person to live. Like, there shouldn't be a death row per se. I think immediately that person, once they die, though, another thing that could happen is we should drain. This is going to sound kind of crazy, but we should drain all the blood out of their bodies, take all their organs, and use it to save other people's lives, after they're gone. So that's just a little side note there.
Well, I mean, it's a rather macabre side note, but I mean, why let a good liver go to waste? Why would you let a good kidney go to waste? I suppose, in the grand scheme of things, if we have the ability to take care of that, let's take care of it. Sure, not against that. Perhaps Shell can put a wrap on the conversation regarding the death penalty. We began this conversation, for those just joining us, talking about this a case out of Arkansas where a father shot and killed a 67-year-old who was accused of previously molesting and potentially was in the midst of molesting his 14-year-old daughter. Shell, good afternoon.
Hey, hello. Yeah, I agree with the guy that just added to what he called in about that. I was just reading about Garcia White in Texas, and he killed people back in 1995, 89 to 95. And he just got lethal injection. That is ridiculous. Us taxpayers, I read somewhere, it's like $40,000 per year to take care of these criminals of our hard-earned money. And to sit on death row, he was supposed to have been killed in 2015 by lethal injection. And here we are, 2024, all those years, just paying for him to sit in jail. And there's thousands just like him. We all need to start speaking up and quit letting this just go on and on and on and waste. And they're so wasteful. And I think that's a great idea about the organs being donated. But how about their bodies being donated to science?
Well,
you know,
I mean,
there's things.
No, I mean, if we're in need, I mean, if society can benefit from what we are talking about, I mean, let's stop with I mean, you know, there's a lot of namby-pamby pussyfooting around that goes on when it comes to these types of things, and I just don't, you know, I'm not bothered by some of what bothers others. I understand how society handles some of these things too, but look, I do not believe my interest in putting people in jail, first and foremost, is punishment. That's what it's all about. I am loath. I'm a libertarian, right, with a small L, and I am loath to give the state any more power than absolutely necessary. And so I do not take it lightly that we give the state the power to kill someone. That is the ultimate power. And we should take it very, very seriously. And we need to be comfortable in our processes to make sure that we're not putting innocent people. You know, our system of government operates under the premise that it is better for guilty people to go free than it is for innocent people to go to jail. Does that make sense to everyone listening and watching? We have to operate that way. The basic structure, the foundational structure of our judicial system operates under the premise, and I agree with it, that it is preferable for someone who is guilty of a crime to get off in some fashion than it is for the possibility that an innocent person be jailed. Now, obviously, innocent people go to jail, and it is always a travesty when it happens, and all of us would be fooling ourselves if we would not accept that at some point over the course of American history, an innocent person has been put to death as a result of being convicted of a crime. But I am more comfortable in 2024 than I have ever been with the death penalty, considering the amount of forensic science that we have to stand behind the guilt of an individual when it comes to the death of another person or the rape of another person, primarily in DNA. And I know this from my worldly experience, my 51 years of experience. I have never seen a case where an individual raped a child and was rehabilitated. Never. Never. It's 50 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here. JK and Erica Brister are the owners of U.S. Pest, and we're transitioning into the winter season where the pests that have been outdoors are not the nuisance that they have been. I'm talking about the fleas and the ticks and the mosquitoes primarily. Now's the time of year that is, where mosquitoes are sent back from whence they came, and that is straight to the pits of hell. However, it is also the time of year where you see more spiders out and about. You see more mice and rodents in and around your basement, your crawl space, your home. Why? Because it's getting cool outside, and pests want what you want, the warmth of your home. They want to reap the benefits of that warmth. They also want your food. You need to stop all of these things through U.S. Pest. The purpose of pest control is quite clear: to eliminate the existence of these pests. The value of its role is to prevent pest diseases, rodent-borne and insect diseases, and they do it great at U.S. Pest. Full-service pest control, termite protection, and crawl space services are available to you with 100% money-back guarantees in each of those services. Give them a call for a free inspection today. It's 590-1260. That's 615-590-1260, or go to uspest.com for U.S. Pest.
The search is on for a man witnesses say was on top of a woman at a busy park in Antioch shortly before shots were fired and she was killed. We'll tell you about it at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you much, Ken Weaver. Can't wait for those details. It's coming up in just about 2 minutes or so on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're going to turn our attention back to the presidential election. I'm going to play this. I've not played the Man Enough ad yet. Man enough. But we will. And I'll tell you who some of the actors are that are currently in the ad, which is nice. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let's see. In the couple of minutes that we have left, we'll put a capper on the death penalty conversation, at least for today, with Lucy in Kingston Springs. Hey, Lucy.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I almost chickened out and didn't call, but I have strong opinions about the death penalty. I had a brother and sister that were murdered in 1992.
Oh, my goodness.
And in East Tennessee. And this was in 92. I was 12 years old. And I still remember everything. And the people that were convicted, the people who murdered them, are still, well, one is still alive in prison, and the other one died of old age, and they received the death penalty. And when one died of old age in prison, the news went, they had a news story about it. They talked to wardens who said that this man was such a nice man and everybody loved him. And I understand this was a person, but he was a monster to me. And I think that my opinion on the death penalty is that it is an unfortunate necessity, and that we can have the attitude of maybe God can give you mercy, but the state of Tennessee isn't going to tolerate monsters.
Well, I can't begin to fathom what your life has been like since the age of 12 when you experienced this. I can't begin to fathom, and I wouldn't try. But it sounds like, Lucy, you've kind of, is it fair to say you've made peace with it?
I had no choice. It was either that or my family just fell apart afterwards. My mother died shortly after,
Oh, my goodness. Lucy, I am sorry. I'm sorry that I have to hold off on it from here. I've got the news coming up, but my goodness, let me reflect on it. I'm going to talk about it over the course of the next few minutes after the top of the hour newscast. Oh, I guess I can barely hear it. Thank you. Bring it up there, just shout it out if you know. Don't be afraid of it. God bless you, Lucy. I agree with you. The way we administer the death penalty is wrong, and I can talk about that too, because we wait way too long. We allow it to go on way too long, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. It's ridiculous. Here's the news on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Right now, we got a crash blocking the left two lanes, that is, of 40 westbound near White Bridge Pike and the Briley Parkway West exit 204. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, the search is on for a man witnesses say they saw on top of a woman before she was shot at the Antioch Greenway last night around 5:30. Channel 4 says they heard her cries for help before she was shot. Metro Police investigating it as a homicide. The possibility the woman may have been raped at the Mill Creek Greenway.
A woman was discovered, and witnesses reported seeing a man on top of her when those shots were fired.
Witnesses say he appeared to be Asian. He was last seen traveling in a gray four-door sedan. They ask that you call Crime Stoppers if you have any information, and anyone who does call Crime Stoppers can do so anonymously, and you are instantly eligible for a reward up to $5,000. Metro Police say one of the two men they've arrested for the deadly shooting downtown Saturday after the TSU homecoming parade had been let free on probation in April after getting convicted of robbery and felony gun and drug convictions. Chief John Drake issued a statement saying the entire criminal justice system must treat violent gun crime with the seriousness it demands, with resulting incarceration for those convicted. Well, the group Mothers Over Murder and the Tennessee Hispanic Action Network demanding immediate changes they say will address violence in their communities.
Y'all always want to holler, enough is enough. I'm so tired of hearing it is enough. But it ain't enough for y'all to keep on saying it's enough.
To cry. You lost your child.
Now, they're saying they need the city's help to make these changes happen that they're talking about. They're asking citizens to vote and invest in organizations they say are actually helping communities daily. Well, today, the U.S. Supreme Court's hearing a case about the reach of seeking monetary damages under the RICO Act. The case involves a truck driver, Douglas Horn, who failed a drug test and lost his job after taking a CBD product. Horn says the product advertised as having no THC and that he was misled. He sued the company under the RICO Act, and justices will determine whether that's admissible or whether Horn's case should fall under a personal injury claim. We get more from Devin Dwyer.
The argument they make is that this company engaged in wire fraud and mail fraud by marketing this product as THC free all over the place, including in YouTube videos, customer service line, and of course the advertising itself. They said that was simply false. That would violate the RICO Act as a corrupt business practice. So that's what they're attempting to argue. But the real question today is, can they recover damages?
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Do you know if you have a major credit card, the possibility exists that you're funding America's future, and it's probably not the future you want for your kids. Sadly, most major credit cards funnel millions of dollars to liberal causes and liberal candidates, hoping that you don't notice. It's time to take a stand and get the woke out of that wallet. Coin is the conservative's credit card. You earn cash back while advancing a conservative future. I invite you to apply now at coin.com. Now, you spell coin, COIGN.com. Find out more. Terms and conditions apply. Go to coin.com/disclosures for full details. That's coin, COIGN.com/disclosures for full details. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy entering hour number 3 of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's the middle of the month, October 15th. We got 3 weeks to go before Election Day 2024. Everybody excited? I'm trepidatious. I am anxious and trepidatious. Locks for Trump Day 227, by the way. I think they're looking pretty good today. Yeah.
That's pretty good, Brother Murphy.
Thank you there, Ken Weaver.
Speaking of Election Day, I wish that my polling location would take a page out of old Brad Raffensperger there in Georgia.
What's wrong with your polling location?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it, but he said they're treating their early voting lines like it's a Chick-fil-A drive-thru.
I like that.
And I thought, why not just hand out some free Chick-fil-A?
Well, that would be worth the while. Yeah, I'm all about some of that.
Then.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn down a spicy chicken sandwich.
I would vote early and often.
All the time.
Yeah, get my sandwich and say, oh, you know what? I voted yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But thank you. And stand back in line. You know what? I forgot. I was here last week. Oh, my goodness. Well, fair is fair. I've already taken a bite of this sandwich. Might as well take it home with me. Man, have you seen, by the way, speaking of chicken, have you seen the KFC ads that they're doing?
No.
About the chicken wars, the chicken sandwich wars?
Oh, I got to look at that.
I don't know why. It wears me out because they're talking. It's like they're in not Camelot, not Knights of the Round Table, but like medieval times, I guess is what I'm thinking. Chain mail and that sort of thing. They're fighting the chicken wars. And they say that the chicken sandwich battles are over. And it was a hard-fought battle, but KFC won the chicken sandwich battles. But the chicken tender wars have just begun. And just the whole concept makes me laugh when I see it.
I don't think KFC won the sandwich war, though. That's my opinion.
Uh-huh.
I think Chick-fil-A might have swept that.
I understand everybody loves the Chick-fil-A. I get it. But did you try the Popeyes?
Popeyes is great. Popeyes is good. I don't think KFC made top 3. That's just my opinion.
Mason, I think Ken Weaver's going to agree with me when I tell you that this subject is up for debate, and what we ought to do is have a loyal listener bring by some samplings of several different sandwiches from several different chicken places, and then the 3 of us can make this determination on our own. Right here.
I agree. Right now.
Because I'm all about it.
I think we need to do a sandwich tasting contest.
Boys, that's a slippery slope for people like me. I might go right off the deep end, not get home till about 11 o'clock tonight.
Would you give an alcoholic a bottle of Jack Daniels? What are you doing?
Hey, it's got protein in it. It's got carbs. It's what you need.
So I don't mean to turn the attention to something so negative, but I have questions, Ken, and you've been following this story, and I don't know that we have answers to these questions just yet.
Okay.
But it's this story you've been reporting on involving Antioch.
Yeah.
And the death of this woman who was found on this walking trail.
Yes, sir.
And if I've understood you correctly, the Metro Nashville police officers are still looking for this individual, right?
Yes. Yeah, he was described by witnesses as appearing Asian.
Mm-hmm.
And he left a parking area there at the Mill Creek Greenway in what was described as a dark-colored 4-door sedan. And that's all they've got so far.
And according to my understanding of the story, witnesses told detectives that they heard the woman who was shot, 34-year-old Alyssa, how are we saying that? Lockets? Lockets. My bad. Lockets.
Yeah.
That they heard her calling for help.
Yes.
And you've described it, and the reports have described it as a highly populated area or a relatively populated area.
Well, people were apparently out exercising, and they heard that they saw this man talking to this woman. Then they heard cries. They apparently saw him on top. Somebody claims to have seen him on top of her. There is a shot fired, and then she is found in a wooded area. So the timeline, police aren't really saying much about that. They're just kind of laying it out like that.
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to hesitate. Because there's too many missing pieces of the jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah,
because I don't understand how we got from maybe people felt in fear of their lives. I don't want to speculate.
Yeah.
But I've got a lot of questions. Like, how is it that this guy got away?
Yeah.
How is it that, I'm not suggesting that people should necessarily intervene if they're in fear for their own lives, but then that question comes up. Was there no one there to help this woman prior to the shots being fired? I don't know. There's just a lot of questions about this story, man.
Yeah. Witnesses report seeing a man, possibly Asian, on top of Locusts before shots were fired. This is directly from the press release. The suspect fled the parking area in a dark-colored four-door sedan towards Old Hickory Boulevard. Locusts was discovered with a gunshot wound in the wood line.
Oh, no.
She was transported to Vanderbilt University Medical Center where she died. Now, this is something here. Her car was located at another trailhead entrance. This one was on Pettis Avenue. So, yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions here.
Well, no question, no doubt, and we need your help. If you have any information, obviously you're asked to contact the Metro Nashville Police Department, 615-862-8600, 615-862-8600. We need to bring this guy to justice, this suspect to justice. In the meantime, 14 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Todd says, you're just wanting free food, Matt. How dare you, sir? How dare you cast aspersions over what I consider to be a scientific experiment over chicken sandwiches?
This is a serious topic.
This is a very serious matter.
Wars have been fought over
That's
this.
exactly right. That's exactly right. That's what we're talking about.
Well, what am I supposed to do if somebody hands it to me?
That's right. Right.
Well, I'd be rude.
I don't want to be rude. My grandpa told me that if somebody gives you something, you take it.
That's against my fat boy, Southern culture.
Ray says Chick-fil-A is the best. See, Ray, this text message is sent like a longtime loyal listener. Ray says, Chick-fil-A is the best. Send Mason to get some.
Go do it, Brother Mason.
I've been known to send people out to get some, and I'm told not to do that anymore, Mason.
Yeah, I don't think I get paid enough to drive for you.
I'm not allowed to send people to the drive-thru. I would, but all right. So party foul, hot chicken cheddar, best sandwich. Okay. I'm all
Party
in.
foul's pretty good.
I'm all in.
Do you do hot chicken, Murphy?
Yeah, I'll do hot chicken.
What's your hot chicken place?
I've done them. I've done Prince's. I did Prince's almost right off out of the gate because I was told that was the original.
Yeah, I did too.
It's a good choice too. That's my go-to.
And let me tell you something. I went to Prince's with my father-in-law about a year ago, and I do extra hot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I do. Now at Prince's, there's hot and there's extra extra hot, and there's extra 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 hot.
Yeah.
I do not understand how you could go beyond extra hot.
Yeah, extra, extra hot melts your face.
Well, my father-in-law did XXX, and then when we got done, somebody said, well, they have something they don't advertise. It's the 4X.
Yep.
Goodness.
And he got mad because he didn't get the 4X.
Dang.
And I'm like, you're mentally unwell. I already knew that about Bob, but my goodness. It was, man, I don't understand how anybody could eat over the extra hot at Prince.
I would say that's impressive, but it just sounds like a
brutal.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, boys. I tried that one you're talking about, Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
My left eyebrow twitched for 3 days afterward. My eyebrow twitched.
Well, the problem is they serve it with that bread, and then you think, the bread will provide relief, but the bread has soaked in all that hot oil, and then you pop some bread in your mouth. It just gets worse.
It's worse. And water doesn't help either.
Water doesn't help because it's an oil-based thing, man.
Yeah,
it's
just
like
tosses
throwing
it
water
around.
on a grease fire. So I have had, I did Prince's. I've done Hattie B's, of course.
Yeah.
And I did some Shut the Cluck Up.
Yeah, Shut the Cluck Up.
Yeah.
That was the one.
I did Shut the Cluck Up.
Yeah.
I did too, man.
Whew. Can I get another one of those chicken scratch beers, please?
Where is the nearest gallon of milk?
Just ripping open a fire hydrant on the side of the road. Just please.
And I've done, is it Eugene's? Am I thinking of that correctly? I've done Eugene's. I don't know if Eugene's is in Nashville, though.
I don't think it's in Nashville.
I think it's in Birmingham,
Yeah,
but it was a hot chicken that was started in Birmingham.
Interesting.
Yeah, man, I'm down with the hot chicken. It's good. I can't do a lot of it because it's the one thing that I have discovered in my life that if I have too much of it, will give me heartburn.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It kicks back for sure.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, if that gives you one of those little burps that.
It's like I was trying to take a nap and I
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
you can't do
esophagus
that.
is burning.
That went along with the twitching eyebrow. People thought I was winking at them.
I can picture Ken with a little feet. Feet. He's he's got the little twitch.
Chin lifting from the heartburn, just trying to adjust.
After about a minute or two, he goes back in for another bite. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's addictive, man. That what is it? The capsaicin or whatever it is.
Yeah.
My father-in-law is so addicted to it that
man.
He makes he grows ghost peppers.
Oh.
And then takes.
Now are they ghost peppers or are they like some like hybrid thing?
No, these are. I mean, he has ghost, and I think he grew Carolina Reapers.
Oh,
man's insane.
Yeah, boy.
Insane.
Yeah,
and
I've tried both, and they are.
Oh man, they're
good.
something
else.
You just got to be real careful. Real careful with them.
Carolina Reaper
and I really
just
don't know
smells like
how to
death,
be
though.
careful because I mean, if you're going to have them, you got to ingest.
Yeah, I mean, you got to eat it. I mean, if that's what you're doing, while we're on the subject.
Yeah,
Hot Ones. You know the show, Hot
Love
Ones?
that show. Yeah.
I would do the show in a heartbeat,
easily.
But I don't know that I can get through it.
I think I can get through it. It's going to be a. It's going to
Have
be
you
a
seen the show,
tearjerker.
Ken?
I have not seen it. Where's
This is
this?
great. No, this is
Oh
great.
my
This is a
gosh.
great show. So
You'd
this
love
guy,
it.
whoever, find the.
It's Sean Evans.
Sean Evans.
Sean Evans is the host.
Is the host. And Ken, here's the premise. So was it 7 wings? I think.
It's 10 wings.
Oh, okay. So 10 wings, and they start with just some regular old hot wings. And then they go up in heat levels, and he's interviewing the guest. And so these are famous folks. These are actors and actresses or political figures or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's interviewing the people while they enjoy some hot wings together. And as they do, the heat levels go up. And they get the end one is like 2 million Schofield, right?
Yeah. So it starts
it's
at
insanity.
it starts at like 150 to like 300 is the first one for Scovilles, and then it goes up to I think they're
Is
at
it
2.
Scoville?
Yeah.
Or did I say that wrong? Okay.
It's at 2.3 million now. I think is what the hottest hot sauce is.
Goodness.
Which is insane. Insane.
Immediately start sweating. Your body's just trying to get rid of it. It's
But
wildly hot.
the number of people that get through it, the number of guests that get through it is
kinda
pretty
wild.
impressive. I
It's
mean,
impressive.
I guess if you're in, you're in, and
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
point you're probably not feeling anything anymore.
Yeah, just numb to the pain. I love watching them hop around.
But
It's
watching
fun.
them about halfway through it, and they take a bite of one of these 1 million Scoville level wings.
Yeah.
And then the host says, "So tell us about your latest film."
Yeah.
And watching them try to plow through the pain of the heat and go, "Oh, we filmed it in South Africa."
Such a clever idea.
It was so good to work with. Oh, it is. It's a really
It's
good.
so
idea.
smart.
It's very
It's
good
like
show.
if you need an episode to watch Dave Grohl's Hot Ones.
All right.
Or Paul Rudd, who played Ant-Man and was in
Paul Rudd's
Portugal
good.
version.
Billie Eilish was good.
Billie Eilish was good.
And I don't think Gordon Ramsay quit, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think
he got
Gordon Ramsay quit.
I think he got 7 out of the 10 or something.
What
like
about
that.
John Taffer? Is he on any of them?
I don't know.
I'd love
haven't
to
seen
see
him
John
on there.
Taffer do something like that. He'd
That
probably
would be
complain
good.
about the kitchen.
Oh my gosh, that would be great.
They have they've done a lot of them though, and I don't know. There's just something
it's
about
so good.
that dynamic that is.
I'm gonna
is
check
really
it
fun.
out, man. There's all sorts of options here: Roku channel, Peacock, Pluto, Amazon Prime.
It's all free on YouTube as well. So if anybody doesn't mind a couple ads, it's definitely worth it.
Says
That's
right
good.
here that one actor apparently wasn't able to see after he ate one. Will Smith says he can't see while eating spicy wings.
That's a good one too.
Slapped him in the face, I guess.
I guess you smacked it right in the face.
Ba-doom-ba.
You know what got
Keep
the most?
your wing out of my mouth. Right? What he said?
Yes. One of the ones that got the most like gifs and memes made about it though was probably Shaquille O'Neal's. He was like, "I'm gonna tough it through."
I've not seen
It's so
Shaq.
good.
I want Shaq.
He's like, "I'm gonna tough it through. I'm gonna do the best." He loses on like the 5th one, and he says, "I'm not gonna make a face the entire time." And then he's caught on the 5th one, and it's from there on, it's just gold.
I love Shaq, man.
He's so
I'll watch
funny.
that.
It's impossible not to love Shaq, is it not?
Yeah.
You have to.
He's
man.
a big, just lovable goof.
Yeah.
It's a great, just goofball.
Yeah.
Just a fun guy.
Shaq didn't blink on his episode. Oh yeah, that's the big thing. That's a big because I'm a face toucher.
Can't touch the eyes.
I touch my face a lot, and I know that I do. I learned
right
that
there
during
with you,
COVID,
yeah.
and so that's a big deal. Is do not touch your face.
No,
you get
not
anywhere
if you,
near
not
that.
if you got that on your fingers, boy. Woo.
Toast, man.
It's like I did that blazing challenge over at Buffalo Wild Wings a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake of rubbing my eye. I thought it was clear with the back of my hand.
Have they increased the heat on blazing?
Yeah.
Because I tried it a few years ago, and I could do it. And I can do pretty hot stuff.
It's gotten hotter from
I think they've increased it because they were getting shamed.
Yeah, they're like, that's too easy. But I think it's some ghost pepper mix. I don't know.
I did the hottest thing I've ever tasted though was I was at a local wing place, and they called. I'm not going to name the place. It's not in Nashville, but they called their hottest flavor Satan's butthole. Y'all know what it tasted like? Satan's butthole. I think that's what I would imagine. But I thought that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Should we call it atomic? No, let's call it Satan's butthole.
Yeah, let's call it that.
Doesn't taste good and it's hot.
It's 24 after the hour. A little fun. We'll get back to news. We'll get back to some of the more serious stuff in just a moment. But if you haven't checked that out, the Hot Ones, it's a quality
fun
show.
watch, man.
24 after the hour on Super Talk. The Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief is located in Franklin. That location has served thousands and thousands and thousands of people over the years. For 30 years, Dr. Gill has been servicing this community. He brought spinal decompression to the community. Everybody uses it now, but it was brought by Dr. Gill. He has been regularly an innovator in the industry. At the Dr. Gill Center, they've been trying to get people back to a pain-free life without having to utilize pills, without having to lean on needles, and they do so on the regular, friends, regardless of where the pain is, whether it's in your back, your neck, your knee, your hip, your elbow, anywhere on your body. It's time to get relief through the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief. By the way, for less than $50, you can go in. You'll get an initial appointment. You'll get a consultation. They'll take some x-rays. They'll go over those x-rays. They'll talk to you about where it hurts and how it hurts. And then you'll get your first treatment for less than $50. I did it, and I encourage you to as well. The Dr. Gill Center, call them today at 615-882-4838. 882-4838. The Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief in Franklin.
All right, got 2 left lanes that are blocked, 40 westbound. This is near White Bridge Pike and Briley Parkway West, exit 204. Metro Police looking for a suspect after a woman was possibly raped before being shot and killed on a local greenway. That's coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you much, Mr. Ken Weaver. Looking forward to that headline update coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So let's introduce you, if you've not heard them, let's introduce you to the real men that support Kamala Harris. That's right, the real men supporting Kamala Harris. Real men who are man enough to support Harris Walls and the Harris Walls team.
I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies? Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story. That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Look, if you've not seen this, it's so much better to watch it because, I mean, there's the guy standing over his motorcycle, the old guy. The guy sitting on the back of the truck posing with his nice straight back and his folded hands is the best. But I mean, it's
is that a real ad?
That's a real ad that is appearing online for Harris Walls. That is a Harris Walls ad.
Okay,
I am man enough to vote for Kamala Harris. All of those people that you just heard from, the 5 individuals in that ad, are all actors. They could not find real men to appear in the ad.
This is going to be their big break, Brother Murphy.
It's got to be. I mean, so they're manly enough to vote for Kamala Harris. I'm a man. I'm a man's man. We're gonna talk about that in just a moment because it's not exactly the reality that they want it to be. In as much as all of these people are actors, and we've tracked these actors down. National Review's got a great story on it. I'll share it with you in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Time for the news.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Homicide Unit detectives are working with Specialized Investigations and Special Victims Division detectives to find the suspect from last night's fatal shooting of a woman on the Mill Creek Greenway in Antioch. 34-year-old Alyssa Lokitz was exercising on the trail when witnesses heard her yelling for help. Witnesses reported seeing a man, possibly Asian, on top of Lokitz before the shot was fired. Others who frequent the area tell Channel 4.
I feel for her because it could have been anybody. It could have been any of these young ladies that's walking and just trying to, get out here and enjoy the atmosphere. It could have been anyone.
Now, the suspect fled the parking area in a dark-colored 4-door sedan towards Old Hickory Boulevard, and Lokitz's body, or rather Lokitz, was found in a tree line. She later died at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Meanwhile, activists with Mothers Over Murder and the Tennessee Hispanic Action Network gathering with politicians yesterday calling for change in their communities following Saturday's deadly shooting that killed 1 man and injured 9 others after the TSU homecoming parade.
Talk about safety all the time. Well, let's put our money where our mouths are and actually do something about it this session. We can't do this work in a silo, and we need help. We need organizations. We need community members. We need our elected officials. We have, at what point is it a state of emergency for people of color?
Police arrested 24-year-old Marquez Davis and DeAnthony Brown, charging them with criminal homicide and the death of 24-year-old Von K. Johnson and injuring 9 others. That included 3 young girls, one 12-year-old and the other 2 14. Now, police say Davis is currently serving a 10-year probated sentence after convictions for robbery and felony gun and drugs in April. And right now in our nation's capital, the Biden administration is warning Israel it risks weapons funding if it does not boost humanitarian aid in Gaza within 30 days. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Sleep apnea and TMJ Solutions is continuing to grow. Why Dr. Stephen Poss and Matt Murphy want to welcome in Dr. Brian McLaughlin, who's coming with the same exceptional credentials as Dr. Poss has always had, serving Middle Tennessee. They have 2 locations. One's in Brentwood, the other in Murfreesboro, and their purpose is simple. They want to try to solve your sleep apnea issues. Do you have sleep apnea? Are you CPAP intolerant? Do you have mild to moderate sleep apnea? Well, the FDA has approved a device that Dr. Poss and Dr. McLaughlin offers to you that gently supports your jaw. I wear it on a nightly basis. And, I did a little experiment over the last several weeks where I wasn't wearing it and I was wearing it because, you question, is this really effective like I think it is? It is absolutely 100% giving me a better restful night's sleep. I'm telling you, folks, this is real. When you have sleep apnea, you stop breathing, you stop sleeping, you wake up throughout the course of the night. If you've had a sleep apnea test, you probably know this. If you need help, they are there for you. And now's the great time of year to do it because many of you have met your deductibles with your insurance company, and they are in network with BCBS, Aetna, Cigna, United Healthcare, Medicare, and TRICARE for the military. 2 locations, 1 website, drposs.com, trposs.com. Call today or schedule an appointment today with drposs.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Man, I've got like 14 stories to get to and only 20 minutes to do it. Thank you for being with us on the Matt Murphy portion of the broadcast. Hey, Brian Wilson in the drive coming up right around 3 o'clock. Ken Weaver, is Ken Weaver back there? I can't see him back there. Is he back there? Yeah, he's good. So while we were talking about chicken and, KFC and whatnot, and even hot chicken, I am lamenting the fact, and I went by a location on Charlotte Pike quite a few times as I was going out and about in that direction my first year in Nashville. I never went to Smokin' Thighs. Have you heard of Smokin' Thighs, Ken Weaver?
Yep, I have, and I'm sad I never went there either.
I did trivia nights at Smokin' Thighs.
Did you really? Have you had it?
I have had it. They have some good stuff there.
You know, they're closing down.
Are they really?
Yeah. The what the story, Ken? Do you know
the owner was killed in a hit and run.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's right.
And they were, I guess, they tried to figure out how to make a go of it, and were unable to make a go of it without the heart and soul of the business, the owner of the business. So that's very sad. But losing one of Nashville's own, Smokin' Thighs, a lot of people say a lot of good things about it. So several of you brought it up on the membersnutrition.com super text line. Just wanted to make note of that. So, yes, by the way, for those asking, Malinoff is now behind the glass. Mason is going to get chicken sandwiches. So I made an executive decision. So can anybody understand what this dude is saying here? This is the ad. This is called Man Enough. It's not actually from the Harris Walls camp itself. It is from a PAC, a political action committee, that is supporting Harris Walls. So I just want to be clear on that. And what is this guy saying?
Dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth
Hold on. I didn't do it right.
Raw dog a flight. It sucked.
Raw dog a what?
A flight, I think.
Yeah, that's
flying.
Raw dogging is a term used whenever your phone has run out of power and you have no charger and you're stuck with yourself.
Oh,
or maybe something actually like a book that you have to look at instead of your phone. It's called raw dogging.
I've never heard that phrase. I've heard the phrase, but not like that.
Easy. Trust me, this is choppy waters here. We need to make sure we are careful. But yes, I'm with Malinoff. I'm with KGB. I've heard the phrase, but I've never heard it. I'm glad Ken Weaver is here to class up this show.
Yeah, I had to raw dog it a couple of times up here to work and then back home whenever I left my phone over, whenever I was getting up at real dumb o'clock in the morning.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was. Because I got to Smyrna and I didn't have my phone, and I thought, what am I going to do?
And I
can't turn around now.
There was a moment in my life not so long ago. It was about 2 years ago. I was getting my license transferred from Alabama to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I went to the DMV. And by the way, all things considered, the Tennessee DMV is not bad at all, y'all. I mean, it's not as bad as it could be. Go to Alabama and try to get a driver's license. But anyway, but I realized I'm standing in line, and it was probably 45-minute wait in line, and it didn't bother me at all. I mean, I was like, I must be maturing in my older age, because there was a time in my youth where these lines bothered me greatly, and they don't seem to bother me anymore. And I swear, Weaver, I didn't get the connection. And as I'm saying this, I'm playing on my phone, standing in line. Like, man, these lines don't bother me anymore. And I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe it's because I have a phone here to keep me company. But then I realized, and I started looking around, there's probably 100 people in the DMV.
Yeah.
And nobody's talking to each other. Everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
Nobody's associating with one another. And I guess that's good that we have something to amuse us, but maybe bad that we're not striking up friendly conversations with our neighbors.
At the DMV, though?
Imagine raw dogging it at the DMV. Oh, I couldn't do it.
Ken with as you just said, bring class.
Well, I mean, I never thought about raw dogging it at the DMV.
Last time I was at the DMV, a guy came back in upset because somebody committed a hit and run on his brand new truck.
Oh, no.
Out in the parking lot.
Oh, my goodness.
At the DMV. It was in Shelbyville.
It's Shelbyville.
Yeah, everybody in Murfreesboro goes to the Shelbyville DMV because the one in Murfreesboro, it takes about 3 days.
Well, I mean,
to get through the line.
I get that. I get that. I was up, I don't know which one this one on Tim something, bro. Oh, anyway. Raw dogging at the DMV. Sounds like the title of a good country music song.
Either that or a movie you might see on Pluto.
The Pluto.
Or Tubi.
Well, all of these manly men raw dogging it on airlines, they really were actors. That ad I just played you, they're a bunch of actors. Winston Carter, for example, the farmer who's, quote, been man enough to tell you I cry at Love Actually, is actually a part of a comedy collective called Heck Benders, which is recently released a low-budget 2016 movie called Spaghetti Man. Carter was the co-star of the movie about a superhero who wears a paper bag on his head and shoots spaghetti from his hands. Which just sounds like there's something that you could see on Pluto as well. I could go over some of these other actors. All of these people are actors. None of them are real people. And it is an embarrassment. And it is being called the cringiest political advertisement in the history of cringy political advertisements. A lot of people on the super text line are begging me to try to tell Ken what. No, I'm not.
Don't do it. I'm reading it too. Don't do it.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Tell me what is. Well, maybe we better not do that.
So
can we tell him off air?
The phrase that this gentleman used in the copy of this advertisement
apparently means something else.
Yes.
Well, let me look it up.
Oh. Okay.
What else does raw dogging mean?
Oh, jeez. Just get back with me when you do.
Just Google it. We can't.
Maybe go to Urban.
Let's see.
Maybe go to Urban Dictionary.
Urban Dictionary.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
What show did I just join here?
It's a big old world. It's a big old world out there. I did not know that it meant.
Well, we'll move right on. No, we can't do that.
You know what it means, Ken?
It
means going without your telephone.
That's what it means.
On an airplane. That's what it means,
Right.
and that's what it always means. And if anybody thinks any otherwise, I don't know what to tell you.
Ken's too good for us. He's just.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to take a Reader's Digest with.
That's
you.
right.
Or maybe look at the rule book.
What was the name of the what's the name of the magazine that used to be in the pocket?
What was that?
You know what I'm talking about? Like
You mean in the airlines?
Sky. There was one
Sky
called
Mall?
Sky Mall.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
KGB with the info. Sky Mall magazine.
Because as a young kid, I didn't have a phone, so that was
I didn't
my
either.
phone. Sky Mall, I looked at it like, oh, look at this giant tiki for $6,000 that I'll never get.
Oh, yeah, it was big time. You know what I do when I get on an airplane?
What's that?
And I'm a little weird, and I do this. I don't know why I do it, but I do it.
Okay.
It is very macabre. You know, they have the card in the back of the pocket of the seat in front of you that tells you the model of the plane that you're on.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's like the C900.
The emergency instructions.
Yeah, and they've got the emergency instructions in there. Well, I take my phone before we take off, and I look up how many times that specific model of aircraft has crashed.
That's a horrible thing to start with.
I do it every time. Every time.
I couldn't do that. I would be thinking about that the whole ride.
No, because see, mine is kind of almost a reverse psychology because, by the way, don't do this if you're afraid of flying because every single one of them have crashed at some point or another. Mostly, non-commercial flights like, they're taking packages or whatnot, FedEx or whatever. But the way I look at it, it's the law of averages. And, what are the odds that we'll crash again after being in a situation so recently? Because trust me, all of them have had situations fairly recently. I also can, just in case, I've been doing this for a long time too. Just in case we have a water landing and end up on a deserted island, island, I pick out the fella that I'm going to eventually have to eat. I mean, 'cause I gotta protect. I mean, I gotta get back to the family. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Well, that's true.
I gotta do what I gotta do. So
that's true.
I'm looking around.
Boy, it's been a long time since we've eaten.
Who's your main
there,
target?
fella.
Who do you look at? Go. What's your ideal traits?
You want to be easily well. This is
the one that's complaining the most.
Yeah, you know what? Fair.
First class. That's where we're going. Because they're grumpy up there.
Well, and they're eating good.
That's right. Well, that's exactly
first class.
Maybe the pilot because he's the one that crashed. He should be the first one to go.
No. We might need his skills later on.
Yeah.
If we have to somehow refashion the aircraft on our deserted island
They
in
have
some
two
way.
pilots. There's a co-pilot.
Okay, well, whatever. You do you. You can select whoever you
Let's
want.
make sure we don't crash in a desert with Malinoff.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
2 minutes in. All right, who we eating first, guys?
we have plenty of food. No, we're eating somebody.
I'm too hairy.
I'm way too fat.
I got a razor in the bag. We're good.
I'm too fat. I'd be too greasy. I'm way too greasy.
I'm too skinny. There's no meat.
You're right on target. I think. I think
I'm on bone, man.
You're right in the zone. All right, the owner.
We just raw dog it.
See, he knew that. He got off the mic as soon as he left because he knew.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, boy. The owner of Time Magazine, let me get back. The owner of Time Magazine is calling out Vice President and presidential candidate Kamala Harris for turning down multiple interview requests. Although she says she's going to be on, and Brett Baer has announced with Fox News, she'll be on Fox News, and she will be on Charlemagne the God. Coming up later on today, I suppose. She's doing several interviews, but refuses to sit down with Time Magazine. Time Magazine, not exactly friendly of Donald Trump. Donald Trump went and sat down with Time Magazine for 90 minutes. As a matter of fact, Time says that Joe Biden sat down with him. Donald Trump sat down with him. They've not missed a presidential candidate in how many years? Who knows? But Kamala Harris says, no, thank you. Why? Because she doesn't want to answer real questions from real journalists. Not that Time Magazine is exactly center, or certainly not right of center, but they ain't real. They're more journalist than Kamala Harris wants to take part in. 51 after the hour, we'll check in with, speaking of journalists, Brian Wilson coming up next with a drive. We'll check in with what's going on with him right after this.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in, and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
Winding down our portion of the day, making way for the drive with Brian Wilson. Brian joins us now to preview what's going on. Not a moment too soon, because we've been talking about this Kamala Harris, this manly man ad from the Harris camp. I don't know. I'm sure you've seen it, Brian. A lot of manly men, actors all, that are expressing their manliness while their desire to vote for Kamala Harris.
Well, she's got in real trouble with men and increasingly with black men and this in campaign, and so she's trying to do everything she can. You know, as I said yesterday, I think it's sort of a sign of desperation. She's been playing it very, very safe, and now she's willing to take some risk, knowing full well that, you know, she's going to get a pretty good line of questioning from Brett Baier over at Fox News now, but she's agreed to do that, and that means that they are willing to take risks because, well, they feel like they're slipping behind. And it's really interesting to watch this campaign go from a feeling of, oh, we got this, to, well, you know what, maybe we don't have this.
Is that the top line item for the drive today, Brian?
Well, no, I'm going to go after some of the reporting about things that Trump has said that are just, a twisting of his meaning. And there's this thing, everybody's mocking him for dancing at a thing, but if you know the whole story and you talk to somebody who was actually there, you get a very different read. We'll start with that coming up right after the news.
Yeah, I'm so glad Brian's covering this. I completely missed the story, but Brian's right on top of it with the drive on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Continue to listen. I know I will, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, friends, at high noon. Until then, have a great afternoon. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.